Good evening, everybody. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. I would like to thank the Friends of the Fairview Library for sponsoring tonight's program. My name is Jamie McDowell, and I am the branch manager of the Fairview Library. And tonight's speaker is Kevin Adams, who I will introduce in just a moment. But before I do that, I want to go over a couple of quick housekeeping things here. Tonight, everyone's camera and microphone has been disabled, so you should only be able to see myself and Kevin. The chat feature has also been disabled, but we will be doing a Q&A at the end of tonight's program. So if you have a question or a comment that you want to share, you can scroll down to the bottom of your screen and you should see a black toolbar, and that third option to the right in the middle there is Q&A. Click on that, open that up. You can type something in there anytime throughout the course of the program. And when Kevin is done with his presentation, I will be moderating those questions for him. We are also recording tonight's program. So if you would like an encore presentation, or if you know anyone that wasn't able to make it live, it should be up on the Buncombe County Public Library's YouTube channel in about a week here. So that's where you'll be able to find it. So without further ado, I want to thank Kevin Adams for joining us tonight. Kevin has spent the past 4 decades exploring the waterfalls of North Carolina, and he is the founder of Waterfall Keepers of North Carolina. Kevin, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you, Jamie, for having me. I am happy to be here. I'm a little bit intimidated by you not letting me see anybody or hear anybody. So that's always a little tough. So if I get to be, if something's not quite right, if a booger's hanging out of my nose or something, I'm sure you'll let me know through chat, right? And I can take care of that. Okay, so welcome everybody. I'm excited that you're here, and Jamie tells me there's like 150 of you. Are you sure you signed up for me? Kevin, I'm the waterfall guy, right? So if that's not who you signed up for, you can go ahead and leave. And hey, I won't know it because I can't see you. I don't know who all's there. Okay, let's get started. Let me share my screen. And that's not what you wanted to see. That's not what I wanted you to see either. So, okay, how's that? Is that better? You can't answer me, so I don't know why I'm asking you a question. Oh, waterfalls. We all love waterfalls, don't we? I mean, I have been in love with them and chasing them my entire life. And you can see me, so you can see I'm an old fart. That's been a long time that I've been chasing waterfalls. About 35, 40 years ago is when I really started doing it seriously. That's when I got a camera, and the first thing that I did was I took it up here to the mountains. I lived in the Piedmont at the time, and I took it up here to the mountains to photograph waterfalls. And about 5 or so years later, I started working on the first edition of the North Carolina Waterfalls book. It's in its 3rd edition now. So a lot of years of exploring waterfalls and finding new ones and traipsing all over the place. So you can imagine that I've seen a lot out there, the good and the bad. The bad has been haunting me all this time. And I guess now I've just reached the point where I feel like, hey, the waterfalls have given me so much in my life, and it is time for me to give something back. So about a couple of years ago, actually, I've been thinking about this much longer than that, but a couple of years ago or so, I decided that I would actually do something about it. And so I formed Waterfall Keepers of North Carolina. Had some help. Holly Bass, a good friend of mine, helped me get it all started the first year. And we have some good people working with us. I'm going to be talking about them in just a bit. But so the idea for Waterfall Keepers, you can see our mission statement here. That's kind of hard to remember and recite. So my quick and easy answer for what we're all about is that if it's good for the waterfalls of North Carolina and the people who visit them, the waterfallers, that's what we're about. That pretty well sums it all up. This is who we are. We're not just an executive director and some volunteers, and a board of directors. We are that, but we're so much more than that, because we have so many people that are so passionate about our mission and what we're doing, and that want to get involved and want to help. And they cover so many different facets of life. They live in so many different places. In fact, we have 11 people on our board now. One of the board members lives in Minnesota for part of the time. One of our board members is homeless. She travels around in a Sprinter van. But all of the people that work in this organization have a connection, a deep connection to North Carolina and the waterfalls in North Carolina. So I am going to tell you about our organization and what we are doing, and I'll sprinkle in a few just pretty pictures of waterfalls. If you want to know any details about some of these waterfalls, just ask that in the chat, okay? Because I'm not going to actually give you details as I'm talking, because I want to tell you about waterfall keepers and all of the great work that we're doing. This is English Falls. That is on the current edition of my book, the last printing of the book. So we have a number of initiatives. We're doing a lot of different things, but I guess you would say that for the start now, the core of what we have been doing for the past year, we just started, by the way, in November 23rd, 2020 is when we launched to the public. So we're young, but the core during this last year has been our cleanup. It takes so long to get things established to be able to do, for a nonprofit to do work. We have to get permissions from all of the agencies. We have to build these alliances with the organizations and things before. We can't just go out with a chainsaw and a shovel and start work. All of that has to be worked out. But one thing that we could do right off the bat is pick up trash and clean up the waterfalls and the trails and the trailheads. And that's what we've been doing big time. Our Adopt-A-Waterfall program, we started that right off the bat. People choose a waterfall that they're going to adopt, and they agree to visit that waterfall 4 times a year, pick up trash, and report back to us on the trail conditions. We use those reports to know what needs to be done. We share those reports with the different agencies, the ones that are responsible for the land that that waterfall is on. We're currently now sharing with 7 different agencies, I believe. We have gotten in close to 600 reports since we started this program, or since we launched Waterfall Keepers. And I know that not everybody who visits a waterfall is sending in the reports like they're supposed to. So if we have any adopters out there, and that's you, all right, after the program, go send in your report. We need them. That's very, very important for the work that we're doing. But we've got in close to 600 of them already. And look at this. We've got 300 adopters, 300 people who have committed to this waterfall to keep it clean. 225 waterfalls. When I tell that figure to some people, they're like, I didn't even know North Carolina had that many waterfalls. Well, they have a whole lot more than that, but we're only doing the public waterfalls, and the ones that are not, we wouldn't let anybody adopt a waterfall that's at the end of a long bushwhack hike. There's no point, because there's not going to be any trash there. So, and look at what we've cleaned up. This is just our adopters. This is not the waterfall sweep that I'm getting ready to tell you about. So we are making a difference, and we're hearing from people that are telling us that we're making a difference because they can see it. And man, what a good feeling that is. It really is. This is one of our adopters who, not at the time of this photo, but now happens to also be the vice president of the board, Joey Cagle, and he is visiting his waterfall in the wintertime. And look what he's doing. He's committed to this, and all of our people are committed. Yeah, look at this. So one of our adopters found this old squatters camp by a creek near a waterfall, and he just took it upon himself. He's going to clean up the entire camp. So he called up a bunch of his friends. and they cleaned, and this was a big camp, but look what they're doing here. I mean, this is absolutely amazing. It's about, I think it was about close to a half-a-mile hike to the camp, but look at them. And yeah, we find a lot of crazy stuff out there. Sure enough, we got them down. The kids really like to get involved with all of the activities. We've got a junior keepers program I'll tell you about in a minute. But these kids were out visiting the waterfall that their parents had adopted, and look at all the trash that they picked up here. And they made this little video and sent it to me afterwards. You may not be able to hear what they're saying, but that's okay. Just look at the enthusiasm and the fun that they're having.
And we have to get scratches. And don't touch the doors because it will push you very hard. See? And look what happened to me. I got hooked here. But yeah. Next door. Oh yeah.
They're so cute. They're saying to make sure that you don't throw the litter, because if you do, they're going to have to go back and clean it up, and they're going to get scratched up with the briars and stuff if they do that. This is the waterfall that they cleaned up, Pot Branch Falls in South Mountains. Cool little waterfall, isn't it? We have an Adopt-A-Highway program. But it's not just, yeah, you may think, well, what does picking up trash on the road have to do with waterfalls? Well, we didn't pick just any road. We picked North Carolina 215, which is not, it is a spectacular road, and it provides access to several waterfalls. We originally had about a 2-mile section. We began at a roadside waterfall, Sunburst Falls, and the other end of it was at another close to roadside waterfall, Bubbling Spring Branch Cascades. We just recently adopted the entire stretch from the Blue Ridge Parkway to Sunburst Campground, 8 miles, a number of trailheads along that route that lead to waterfalls, and a few other waterfalls that are very, very close to the road. So we are keeping all of that cleaned up. By the way, our next cleanup is February 20th. It's the first one to do the whole stretch. We are going to be opening that up for registration in about a week. So think about that. Okay. This is along the stretch. This is Sunburst Falls. This is where used to be one end of our thing. Now we've extended it, as I said. This was the first cleanup that we had. And this guy, Lawrence, he drove all the way from Durham on a day trip just to help us clean up on our first day. Amazing. The passion and the enthusiasm that we're getting from everyone is just incredible. This is Sunburst Falls photographed from the road. And this is Bubbling Spring Branch Cascades that was at the other end. Now we've gone up another couple of miles up to the parkway. Last March, we held our first annual Waterfall Sweep. Our next one second one is coming up on March 26th of this year. During the Waterfall Sweep, we encourage people to go out all across the state on that day and clean up trash, litter at a waterfall environment on the trail there, the trailhead, or if you don't have a waterfall nearby, just go out, find some water. Okay, that'll work. That'll be fine. But we also have a number of locations that are organized where we have crews that go out and pick up because it needs extra care, those particular organizations. And we're going to have we've chosen the ones now. We're getting ready to put them on the website and get people signed up. We've got, I think it was 10 maybe sites that we're doing, 8 or 10 this year. This is the Rotaract of Asheville group that cleaned up at Little Bradley Falls, the whole trailhead area around that waterfall last year. And we hope that they will be out. And I think they will be out again this year, helping us out. This is the all-girl Boy Scout troop from the Greensboro area that they have adopted Shacktown Falls, and then they showed up at Shacktown for the Waterfall Sweep to clean up this area, which really needs it. It gets a lot of litter, especially along the roadside. And so all these girls got out. They were troopers in the cold and got out and cleaned it up. My wife got involved in that one. That's her down in the ditch beside the road cleaning up. Here's another site that shows all of the garbage that was picked up. I believe this might have been the trailhead for Bernie's Falls. I can't remember for sure. Look at all the tires. These ladies drug these tires up a very steep bank to get to the road. Hard work, and just here's a, yeah, this is what, this was one of the locations for the sweep, and this was all of the trash that we cleaned up on that location. Silver Run Falls, south of Casiers, easily accessed waterfall in Nantahala National Forest. It's one of my favorite waterfalls to go to. So another thing that we do with our cleanup initiative is, or we're going to do, is graffiti. We are purchasing a special portable pressure washer that is made just for removing graffiti. So we don't have to use chemicals, and it won't harm the rock, and the chemicals won't get in the waterway. Obviously, we can't just go throwing chemicals on the graffiti beside a waterfall. So we hopefully will be getting that. We're going to start in the spring. We had planned to get it sooner, but honestly, we had hoped maybe to get a donation to help purchase it. We did get a $500 donation to go towards that, but the pressure washer itself is $1,500, and then the extra supply. So it's pretty expensive, and so we have to watch our money. But spring is when now we hope to get this and get started cleaning up sites just like this. This is one at Shacktown Falls. So we are going to be going in and actually building a kiosk for Shacktown, an interpretive kiosk, and doing some trail work there. And we will also remove this graffiti there. And we're on track to get that done before the start of the summer season. This was at Dry Falls in Colasaja Gorge. Very popular waterfall, and a lot of rare plants and stuff that grow there. A lot of them. And this guy decided that he was, or, you know, it could have been a girl, I don't know, but whoever it was, they need to be hit upside the head with the 4x4. This is, oh my goodness, I just got a mind block. That's not good if I don't know the names of the waterfalls, is it? I'll think of it in a minute and tell you. What is wrong with me? So we just recently, last week, we had volunteers helping the Pisgah Conservancy and Pisgah National Forest cleaning up a site that I've been crying over for decades. When I first started coming up to the waterfalls, this site looked like this. It's horrible. And when I started Waterfall Keepers, this was one of the things that was on my mind when I started it, that this organization can do something about this. And so I made a lot of phone calls and I wrote a lot of letters. But the Pisgah Conservancy also was talking to people, and they organized this cleanup. We had volunteers there helping them do it. They cleaned this site up. It's about, it's a half a mile long, literally half a mile long, just roadside dumping, and it has been for decades. And somehow or another, they managed to get this site cleaned up in 3 days, 2 weeks ago, I think. It was just incredible. They had backhoes there, they had dumpsters, they had trucks coming and going, and lots of volunteers out there, including, I'm so proud that Waterfall Keepers was a part of that effort to clean up. Here's one of our our volunteers. She's just excited. She was also one that was calling people and writing letters to get something done here. And now she is just tickled to death to be out here cleaning up the site. Liam Latham, bless you. So they rigged up, they got these big bags and they rigged up the ropes and stuff because it's a very steep bank going down there. You can't haul the garbage out. So they got it out with the pulley system, and then they had, these are the folks from the Pisgah Climbing School that were dragging up tires. Look at that. Way to go, guys. How cool is that? Okay, so we have lots of other things that we have going on. Safety is a big thing. We have information on the website, and the next thing we're going to do is publish a brochure that we want to get out as many places as it can to just alert people about the dangers at waterfalls, because you would think, but they don't. People just don't realize how dangerous they are, especially climbing on them and getting close to the top and all of that stuff. So, and with so many people going out now, we need to put a lot of effort into and doing that. We do have a lot of good information on the website. We've shared video and some information from Transylvania County. They've done a very good job with getting the word out about safety issues. This is Dry Falls, where that person carved in that lichen. The other thing, of course, we look out for the waterfalls themselves. We want to educate people about things that they may not be aware of. I would hope that anybody would know that it's not okay to build a campfire on a rock like this at the base of the waterfall. But that kind of thing needs to be put out there just to let people know. And there's so many things that that the visitors don't even know about. So we're going to also publish a brochure on that at some point, hopefully fairly soon. Just little things like this. All of the photographers that go out to the waterfalls now and photograph, if there's clutter at the base of that falls, they want to remove it. And I'm one of them. I don't like clutter. I don't like falling branches and things like that. But if that clutter looks like this, if it's a log that has moss on it, that means that it has been there long enough that it is a critter condominium. There's all kinds of living organisms that depend on that log. And if you move it out of the way just so you can get a better photo, you're destroying that habitat and very likely destroying those critters in the process. And of course, I'm sure a lot of you know about the controversy over building cairns at waterfalls. It is not a good practice, and we want to tell people why and just give them the information. And we believe that if you don't preach, if you just give that information to them, most people will make the right choice in what to do. This is just one reason. There are several, but just one why it's not a good idea to be playing around with the rocks in the streams, picking them up, moving them around, stacking them and all that sort of stuff. Because this guy, the hellbender, you very well could be destroying. It is, you know, this happens more often than you would think, that they get crushed, their habitat gets destroyed, and their nests get destroyed and they die. So here's another one. If a branch is in the way of your photo, what do? Some people cut it down. Well, we'd like to recommend that you just carry this string and carabiners and then just pull it back out of the way while you take your photo, and then release it and let it go when you're done. So that kind of thing. This is Bridalville Falls in Dupont State Recreational Forest. This is the one that part of the scene was filmed for Last of the Mohicans, you know, the famous waterfall scene with Hawkeye and Cora, I will find you. But that part wasn't filmed at this waterfall. That was filmed at a warehouse in Asheville where they built a waterfall. But the part of it where the, I guess it's the Mohawks are coming behind the waterfall with the torches, that was filmed right there. Yeah. So when I started this organization, science was big on my mind. My ultimate goal would be to have a biological survey of every waterfall in the state. Now that's impossible. That'll never happen. But if we could survey the spray cliff natural communities at most of the waterfalls, that would be tremendous. That's still a huge job, but that would be tremendous. So that's something that we are working towards. The Spray Cliff Natural Community is a very rare natural community, and it harbors very rare plants as well. So we want to do that. We got a grant right off the bat when we formed to do 2 surveys in Transylvania County. Those are complete. We found a lot of cool stuff at those 2 waterfalls. And of course, we share those surveys with the officials at the managing agencies. I'm not advancing here. There we go. So dry falls that I've mentioned a couple of times. This little guy right here grows there, or at least it used to grow there. I think it's been a few years, maybe 10 years or so since it's been seen. It is the only place in the world, I think, where it's known, or at least in the Western Hemisphere where it grows. It may be found in one place in China, I can't remember. But anyway, it is probably without question among the rarest plants in North Carolina. And it grows right there on that spray cliff area where that person carved his initials into the lichen. So scary thought there. We would love to do a survey at Dry Falls, a recent one, so we have that information and we know how well this plant's doing, and just to see if it's still there. Looking Glass Falls, everybody knows where Looking Glass Falls is, right? If you don't, it's on 276, about 5.5 miles south of Brevard. So we have an historical archive. I need to update this photo. I took this picture like, I don't know, 2 years ago or something like that, before we really got established. The new picture would be, oh my gosh, because we have so many cool historical volumes now in the library. We've got over 200 items. They are all cataloged. They just recently, we had a librarian, Beth Bradshaw from the Hickory public library system, just cataloged all of our items. The next step is to scan them all, and we're going to put them on the website. They are available now for people to come and do research and look at them at our location. But we do want to put on the website the volumes that we have, and we are constantly adding new things. This was one that I was really happy to get. I've known about it for decades, but never saw one. But then somebody who had this heard about our library and contacted us, and we were able to get this this very rare, though it's like a pamphlet more than a thing, but it's cool. This is one we just got yesterday. Our board president is a great researcher of stuff, and so he sleuths out all these things, and he found this with some others and sent it to us for the library. I just got it yesterday. Cool stuff. We have a lot of postcards, those old linen type postcards in the library. And this is another one that Steve Temple, our president, found. We will keep digital photos, but we don't really consider that to be a part of the historical archive because they're not originals. It's just a digital file. But we'll keep them for information purposes. But this guy, this is as original as it gets. It's dated about 1930, sometime in the 1930s. It's, oh, you can't tell it, but it's an oval glass frame and a single piece. The frame is single piece and the glass in it is oval. Really cool. The 1930s. You recognize that waterfall? It's Rainbow Falls. And yeah, this is a digital photo, but actually, I think I got this from Pack Library many years ago, I believe. And another thing that we're doing with our archive is oral histories. We want to record these histories of people, the old timers in the waterfalling community that go way back, and just get them on record now while we still can. This was the first one that we did. We've got 2 more planned coming up soon, but this is the renowned Bernie Boyer. And this is Bernie's Falls, which was named after him. Salls Creek, Upper Salls Creek Falls. Our Junior Keepers program is a very important thing. It gets the kids involved, and that's what you have to do, right? You got to get those little boogers out there and get them interested in it. And they're like little sponges, you know, so you can teach them all about the waterfall environment and the safety and the ethics and all of the good stuff. And some of those kids are going to grow up and they're going to work for waterfall keepers in North Carolina. That's just the way it works. So we are so excited to get them out, to have this program. They can go out and they have lessons that they can do, and they earn patches and cool stuff for the kids. Looking Glass Falls again. So a few months ago, we formed our idea committee, and this is another one that's dear to my heart. What am I saying? All of this is dear to my heart, right? Okay. So the idea committee, if everybody that, let's put it this way, in the 35, 40 some odd years that I've been seriously hiking to waterfalls and exploring and photographing them, you want to hear something really sad? I mean, really, really sad. I can pretty much count on these 2 hands the number of times that I have encountered a Black person at a waterfall outside of, let's say, Great Smoky Mountains, the real popular ones in the Smoky Mountains. That must change. If everybody that visits waterfalls and hikes to waterfalls and learns about them looks like me, then it's not only the waterfalls that are doomed, but I think society too. And that's just the way that I feel about it. We want to engage the Black and brown community, the underprivileged, the elderly, anybody who is not able to, for whatever reason, whether it's their position, whether it's their income, or whatever, or their health. If they can't go to the waterfalls, we want to help them do that and get them involved and get their kids there too. So that's what this committee is all about. And they've already started out like gangbusters, and we've got the information now. It's ready to go on the website. We just need to get it on there. And then that will be the first phase of it. And then our committee's continuing to work on reaching out and forming alliances with various organizations that work with these groups, or that have connections with these groups, so that we can decide and formulate ideas and work together with them to just change the fact that everybody looks like me that goes to a waterfall. Yeah, that's got to change. It just has to, and we're going to make that change. And we're going to start seeing more of this at our waterfalls. This is one of our board members, Deborah Mclong. She formed a group called Chasing Waterfalls. If you want to look it up, the A is an 8, CH8, Chasing Waterfalls. And her group was formed solely for getting Black faces at the waterfalls and mainly Black women. But now she is working with us. She's on our board. She is the chair of the idea committee to do all of the good stuff that I just talked about. And you can tell by that picture, she's going to make a difference. This says Silver Run Falls again. I think I showed you one. Didn't I show you one in winter, I believe? Yeah, the one that's close to Cashers. I love that waterfall. Love it. So COVID really put a damper on things, and the fact that honestly, young organization, there's only so much that we can do. We couldn't just all of a sudden start out and we've got field trips all over the place and doing this event and that event. It just doesn't work that way. If somebody wants to write us a check for $500,000, we'll make it work that way tomorrow. Okay. But the reality is that's just not the way that works. But, and COVID, of course, hitting, we would have done more, but no way. So we're hoping that this year can sort of be more of a breakout year for field trips and things. We did have last year, we have an arrangement with the new owners for East-to-Toe Falls, and they are wonderful people. And so we brought out for 1 weekend last year, we had people come out, they opened their waterfall, and people could come out and see that waterfall again in a safe type environment. Saturday and Sunday. We're going to do that for 2 weekends this year, one in April and one in October. We are going to do a few adult educational hikes. One of them is going to be to this waterfall, High Falls. It's going to be a geology hike. And it's going to be led by Bill Jacobs, the guy who wrote, oh my goodness, here I go again. By the way, that waterfall that I forgot the name of it before, it's Milton Bradley Falls. Okay, I knew I'd think of it. The name of his book that he wrote is Whence These Special Places. It's about the geology of the Cashers Plateau. So there's nobody more qualified to lead this hike than him. And his wife will also be there, and she'll be talking about the wildflowers along the hike. Oh, Silver Run Falls again. How about that? From the other side. We also are going to have, let's see, what else have we got? You know what? I'm going to wait because I've got more coming up about that. So the first edition of my book came out in 1994, I believe. And fairly soon after it came out, I started getting letters. Didn't even have email at that time. Well, maybe I did, CompuServe. But anyway, so I started getting letters, some handwritten letters from people thanking me for writing this book. And I thought, my goodness, it's a guidebook. It's just a guidebook to waterfalls. But some of those letters, the people were telling me how hiking to waterfalls helped them so much. And in the close to 30 years since, I've heard from people, 3 people who have overcome alcoholism largely as a result of waterfalls, of hiking to waterfalls, people whose marriages have been helped immensely, if not saved, from visiting waterfalls, people that have been helped a lot with their depression because of them, people that have body image issues. The waterfalls has helped. One person lost 100 pounds and also quit drinking because of going to waterfalls. And I'm thinking, you know what? There's something there that is real, and I can feel that healing power of waterfalls myself. So we are tapping into that. That's what we want to do, and help as many people as we can with using the waterfalls. So we are about this close. I've been saying this for a year, but I'm telling you folks, we're this close to that first phase, which is putting all of our information on the website. It's pretty much done. It just needs to go onto the website. We have our Healing Waterfalls Committee. that is now working on the next phases of the project, which will be working with the agencies. We're going to talk to the other organizations that are using the outdoors to help people, and we're going to try to work out arrangements with them for the waterfalls. And we have 2 healing waterfalls outings that we're going to do next year, in which we have a person that's going to be leading those hikes to go out and just, you know, do that thing. So watch out for that. That's coming up. It's coming up real soon, and it is going to be way exciting. Yeah, cool stuff. This is, by the way, the waterfall that the healing hikes that we will go to. But we're going to have a lot of information on the website, so people will be able to go to the website, and if you're the spouse of a person that needs help, or a sibling of the person, we're going to have information on there that you can use, that's tangible stuff that you can use to help your loved one using the waterfalls. I'm really excited about that. And our most recent initiative is, we don't have a name for it yet, so the committee needs to come up with that. This is what we're referring to it as now, but we want to research and identify every possible occurrence that we can find between North Carolina Native Americans and North Carolina waterfalls in particular, and just waterways in North Carolina in general. We're not sure what we're going to find. We're not sure what we will use the information for, but that's all right. Knowledge, just having the knowledge will be beneficial. But we suspect that there are going to be some good things that we can do with this. So we're going to be working with, this is not just something that we're going out and just doing. We're going to form the relationships with the different tribes in North Carolina and work together with them under their guidance, whatever, you know, the saying, nothing about us without us. And we're going to take that to heart. I think this is a very important thing, and I think it's going to lead to some good things. And we've got a great person who is heading this up and getting everything started. His name is Steve Livingston, and I'm very excited about this initiative that we're doing. English Falls again. Yeah, just the top part of it. So yeah, same old, same old. I tell you what, we have so many passionate people that are so excited about what we're doing. And we could decide that we're going to have some cleanup next week and send out a mailing, and we will have all the volunteers that we want for it. That's what happened with the Tucker Creek cleanup. They told me to stop taking volunteers because we had so many people signing up for it. They didn't want it to just be us. They wanted the other organizations that were working with them to have some people there too. So we have that, and that is so wonderful. And when the time comes that we're able to do more field work, that's going to be terrific that we have that base to work from. But we are suffering from what any nonprofit suffers from at the outset, is just getting the infrastructure set to accommodate all of that and to be able to manage all of those people, and to the administrative part behind all of these initiatives that we're talking about. So it's hard. I'm not going to lie to you, but we are just going to do everything we possibly can and continue on. Of course, we need the financial part of it is a big part. More money would help us immensely in getting some of these programs farther along, really getting them going good. And we have a lot of good volunteers that are working regularly with the behind the scenes stuff, but we need more for various tasks. I can, like right now, if any of you out there are good at working on WordPress websites and would like to volunteer, call me as soon as this program is over. Okay. I need you. But you could help us out tremendously just by telling your friends about us. Spread the word. The more people that know about us, the more people are going to get involved. They're going to donate. They're going to become members. That will help us a lot. So just spread the word. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope we have lots of questions. If we don't, you're going to hurt my feelings. So think of something to ask right now. And you can see here is our contact information. Please go to our website, but please forgive the fact that it really needs to be updated. Okay. And please don't hesitate just reaching out to me directly with any questions or anything. Just there's my email address, and I would love to hear from you. Thank you again. And I hope to see you at a waterfall.
Kevin, thank you so much for such an excellent presentation and beautiful photographs throughout.
Thank you.
Again, if you are interested in asking Kevin a question or just want to throw out a comment, the question and answer bar is down at the bottom on your Zoom screen there. It's right in the middle, the one on the right says Q&A. Just click on that and type a question in there. And so while people are taking the time to do that, Kevin, I've got a question for you.
Okay.
As far as the waterfall keepers cleanup part of your organization goes, how does that work? Do you pick the waterfalls for the folks that want to adopt a waterfall? Do they ask to adopt a specific waterfall?
That's a very good question. So we have on our website a map, a Google map that has pins for all of the waterfalls that have been adopted, and it's color coordinated. So it lets people know which waterfalls still need adoption. So you can check out that map and just find a waterfall there. And I think it's, if the color is orange, it needs an adopter, I believe, but there's, instructions there. Now, when we first started and didn't have any adopters yet, there's so many of them out there. So people were just, okay, sending in the application and just writing in the waterfall they wanted to adopt. We work with them on that. They can still do that. If there's a waterfall out there that you want to adopt and you don't see it on that map, that doesn't mean you can't adopt it. You can. So just let us know. We have the application form to adopt is also on our website on the Adopt-A-Waterfall page. Now, I will say we don't accept adoptions for waterfalls that are on private property unless they are continuously open to the public. So, for instance, a waterfall like Bird Rock Falls and Mill Shoals in Balsam Grove community, we do have adopters for that, even though it's private, but that waterfall is open for anybody to go to. Otherwise, we don't do that. But yeah, you send in the form, the application, and Steve Matadobra, who is our adopter coordinator, will be in touch with all of the information you need. And if you pick a waterfall that is already has enough adopters or something like that, then we'll work with you to try to find another one. It's tough now because we got over 225 adopted, and there are not that many left that are suitable for adoption. There's some of them that are on public property, for instance, that we won't accept adopters for various reasons, whether it's safety or the governing agency just doesn't want it advertised and that sort of thing. But yeah, check out our website, Adopt-A-Waterfall page.
Right. We've got some questions rolling in. Our first question here, what is the future of Skinny Dip Falls, if it even has a future?
I don't know the answer to that. I actually just talked to a Forest Service official a couple of weeks ago about Skinny Dip Falls, and I don't think that they fully know yet what they're going to be doing. I would venture a guess, though, that they're going to rebuild the steps and the bridge. Now, as far as I've not been back since the flood, so I haven't seen it. I can't speak to that, but I could pretty much say for certain that they're not going to do anything about the fact how the landscape has changed there. They won't do that. But as far as the access and putting that bridge back in and all, I think that they will probably they'll probably do that at some point.
We've got a comment here from one of our attendees. They say it'd be nice to rename the waterfalls to their original Native American name. Could that be something to consider from your research?
Thank you for that comment. I mentioned with our Native American research, we don't know what we're going to find or what we're going to do with it when we do, but I can tell you that that is one of the things, and that would we do have a lot of things that we're thinking about that we might do. That's definitely on the list. I would love nothing better than to discover the original names that the Native Americans gave for these waterfalls, and to be able to petition the caretakers of the land to officially change those names. And that, I mean, that's a long drawn out process to get it changed. If you're talking about getting it changed at the USGS level, that takes a long time, but we'll do it. We'll work on that. But just getting it changed at the level like of the National Forest, just changing the name on their map, that doesn't make it an official, the U.S. Board of Geographic Names change. But if we could just get it changed in my books, in my website, and that sort of thing, and just switch it back over, I'm with you on that.
Let's see, another question here. You mentioned that the rock stacking practice and building of fires near the base of waterfalls is discouraged or is a bad practice. Is that due to the potential disturbance of or damage to animal habitat?
The rock stacking, yes, absolutely. That's what that is for. The fires, the campfires, suppose that would be, it wouldn't be much of like the disturbance of the habitat as it would a disturbance of other people. It's just not a polite thing to do, I guess. And if there is one, like you got that one campfire built on that rock, then there's going to be more, and people are going to start seeing that as the place that they can go camp out and hang out right at the base of the falls. Even though at that particular waterfall, there is an official place to camp, not 100 feet away, 150 feet away. So you'll just have more and more people coming in and disturbing it in that way. And you know what happens when that happens.
We've got quite a few comments thanking you for your presentation.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Somebody here says they're an alumni of your photography class. Another question, when is the hike with Bill Jacobs and how rigorous is the hike?
It is. We do have the dates chosen, and it is going to be in a few weeks again on the website. Hope we get one of those comments from somebody. Yeah, I can help. Because we got all this stuff that's ready to go on the website, and all right, I'm not gonna complain anymore. It is going to be April 16th, Saturday, April 16th. And by the way, one of those we're calling them waterfall therapy hikes is going to be the next week, the 23rd. And the East Etoe Falls visitation is the weekend before the 9th and the 10th. But I tell you what, here's what you do. Go to our website, and on every page at the footer at the bottom, you can sign up for our newsletter. If you sign up for the newsletter, you will know whenever these things are ready for registration.
All right, thank you, Kevin. The next question here is, the question is it called English Falls? I don't see it in your 2007 edition of your book, but I'm not sure what the question is referring to, what the it is there.
So it wasn't, that waterfall was not in the, you have a printing from 2007, I guess. 2004 was the publication date for the second edition. And no, it wasn't in there. It was supposed to be. But at the right towards the end, I'm running out of time, my publication deadline. And I was going to go up. It was one of the last waterfalls that I had not been there before, and check it out. And maybe you recall that they had a really big landslide on the parkway right there at the waterfall. And so they closed the parkway for a long time and I could not go. So, but I did go back. It is in the third edition, the latest edition of it. But there are issues there. And if I was to do, which I won't, but if I was to do a fourth edition, the fourth edition is going to be a website, so not a printed book, but it probably will not be in it. But that is the name, as far as I know. That I've heard other names and things for it, but from what I have been told and the best that I can determine, that is the more widely accepted official, none of these are official, but name for the waterfall.
You sounded pretty sure of yourself not doing a fourth edition of your book there.
Hey, look at me. I'm an old fart. I can't keep crawling around these mountains like this. And if I did another one, I don't know how I would choose what, because I know about, I don't know, 150 more waterfalls now since that third edition came out. So then I can't put them all in there. I don't know what I'd do, but website I can do. Okay.
Speaking of your website, we have another question here. Does your website show waterfalls accessible to handicapped individuals?
It does not, but thank you for asking that question. That is one of the things that is going to be going onto the website as part of both the IDEA initiative and the Healing Waterfalls initiative, because we hear from people all the time, well, I just can't get out to the water. I love them. I like seeing your pictures. I hear this a lot personally. I like seeing your pictures, but I'm just not able to go. Well, there are a number of waterfalls that, yeah, you are able to go because they're roadside. There are a few that you don't even have to get out of the car to see, and some of them are really nice. So we are going to put that information on there. Now, we are not a hiking club, and we're not about just giving out directions for people to go see waterfalls. That's not our mission, okay? But if we can enable people to see waterfalls who otherwise wouldn't be able to, we are about that, okay? There's just such a ton of information out there. You don't need to learn to get info on how to find a waterfall from us when you could just do a quick Google and there it is right there. So thank you for that. Yes, we're going to have something like just a whole guide here for the easy ones to get to. So those, disabled access and stuff. Yeah.
What about Waterfalls? What is happening with Waterfalls and when will it reopen?
I don't know. I didn't know that it was closed. It's roadside. Or if you're just referring to the road, what is that, Forest Road 70? I think it's closed seasonally, so it's always closed in the winter, I believe. Yeah, if you want to type more information, because I'm not sure what I haven't been in a while, so I don't know what's going on there.
The photographs in this presentation and on the website are beautiful. Are they
Oh,
available for purchase? Could that be a fundraiser?
oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That is one of the things that we're looking into, to help when we're looking into just about everything to do with that. So, and of course, I am happy to donate. There is we have to be careful about, I call it separation of church and state. I'm the executive director of Waterfall Keepers of North Carolina, a nonprofit organization, but I'm also the owner of Kevin Adams Photography. And so I work very, very hard to keep those two things separate. But obviously there's a lot of overlap that goes on in that. And one of those overlap things is yeah, we've talked about that. We may have something coming up soon just right along those lines, and also about doing a calendar. I didn't do one for my photography for this year. It's just too much work for too little gain. But we may do one, Waterfall Keepers may do one where me and other photographers can donate photos to go in the calendar, things like that.
Our next question is, that's a question for me. Can I access complete webinar after the fact? Yes, you can. We have recorded this and we will put it on the library's YouTube channel. Hopefully that will be live in about a week, if not less time than that. We've got a few more questions. Can you hang on for a few more?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm here.
What about dogs on trails?
Well, so you read that comment then, huh? Yeah, so I tell you what, I would encourage you, well, you could actually just go to our website, the Waterfall Keepers website, on the Looking Out for Waterfalls page, and read the information that we have there about dogs. We used some information from Great Smoky Mountains National Park. I would encourage everybody to visit the official National Park website and read what they say. They explain it very well about why it's actually, you can't take a dog in the Smokies, and they explain why, because of all of the different things of even if you keep it on a leash the entire time and it doesn't have any interaction with any other animals and stuff, just the smell, the fact that that dog's on the trail can cause little critters, for example, to go to burrow down and stay burrowed down when they should be out foraging, and things like that, and all of the different things. Now at Waterfall Keepers, we are not we're not taking the official stance, or that the Smokies is certainly, and we're actually not taking any stance for or against. We're putting the information out there. It is on our website to explain what the situation is, and we strongly encourage everyone, beg, please, okay, not encourage, I beg you, when you take your pet, your dog out, keep it on a leash. And in fact, at most of the places that you would go to, or certainly a lot of them, the hike to waterfalls, that is the law. You're legally required to do that. So yeah, just if you'll do that, then that'll help a lot. There's so many people now that are taking their dogs out, our little furry friends, and I understand that it is hard to not do that. I'm a pet owner myself, so I understand that.
A lot of challenges out there when hiking to falls, briars, creek walking, and bushwhacking. What is your least favorite feature?
I love it all. Except crawling through rhododendron tangles. I hate that. I just hate. I can put up with just, well, I put up with that, but just because I have to, but I don't like it. And for me, it's more because I've always got a photo pack on. And so that makes it a whole lot harder. It'll snag on everything. And I'm carrying a big tripod at the same time. The tripod that I carry is too big to strap on my pack for any length of time. And even if I did, then it really would snag on everything. So that just crawling through those roto jumbles, it just gets me. I'd rather scale cliffs and wade swift rivers and all of those things that people talk about doing than have to get down on my hands and knees and crawl through rhododendron.
I love that. So let's see, we've got another comment here. Oh, somebody chimed in about the Waterfalls
Good.
comment from earlier. They said that it flooded and a part of the road was gone after the flood.
Walker.
Capital Gone, gone after the flood.
Okay, I had not heard that. And I'm surprised I haven't heard that. I didn't realize that that part of that road washed away. But okay, they'll fix it. They'll fix that. And yeah, I'm sure they'll fix that one. Who knows when. But I'm going to have to check with them about that because I hadn't heard that. Thank you.
Let's see, and I think I've got one final, well, there's a lot of everyone's just saying thank you so much, Kevin.
Oh, thank you.
And if for some reason I missed anyone's question, is there a place to contact you on the Waterfall Keepers website if somebody wanted to ask a question?
You can just send me an email or from the Waterfall Keeper. So there's a contact page, and I will see it. If you send in the contact thing, I will see it. So yeah.
Okay, great. We do have somebody that has chimed in regarding accessibility to waterfalls. They said Vocational Rehab did a book on handicapped accessible waterfalls some years back, and they asked, do you want a copy of this book?
Yes. Yes. Was it just North Carolina waterfalls?
If they're still here, maybe they can chime in the comments.
No, I want to see it anyway. There may be, even if it's not North Carolina, there may be other information in there that would be helpful. Yeah, and also it sounds like that would be something that we would like to have for our archive.
Right.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you, Kevin. There are so many, I mean, it's just so many wonderful accolades here. Learned so much and more motivated than ever. Your passion really comes through. Somebody joined while they were while they were watching the presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, and Annie chimed back in. She's the one that mentioned vocational rehab. She said actually it was hikes and waterfalls only Western North Carolina.
Okay. Yeah, I'd love to see it. Yep.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. It's been great. Thank you, everybody.
Absolutely. Thank you to the Friends of Fairview Public Library, and take a look at the library's YouTube channel in about a week, and we should have this recording up there.
Cool. Bye-bye, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.